Always feels to me like good summer trousers are really hard to find unless you make them, like these, which are my travel trousers. But I'm not making trousers today, I'm going to repair trousers instead because I have one other really good pair of summer trousers. And that's these ones. They have a lovely elasticated waist, so it doesn't matter how much ice cream I eat, and they're nice and loose and lightweight fabric. But they have a little bit of a problem, which is a couple of holes, because I tend to wear them in the garden and then they get caught on things, wood, thorns, branches, as I'm frolicking through various woods and whatnot. I think there's two main holes in these ones. What I am going to do is try and repair them using sort of Sashiko Boro techniques, which is like this old school Japanese way of repairing things with very, very small stitches where you take a patch and you put it over or under. I'm going to get under, I think, on this one. And then you just stitch over the top with lots and lots of really tiny little stitches, and it makes a slightly decorative pattern. I'm going to say Sashiko Boro inspired. If you want to learn more about Sashiko and Boro, I will link you on the top bar to someone who really knows their stuff, who is Japanese, because I'm not fully qualified to talk about it. But the fabric I'm going to use, obviously I've got my floral trousers here, and the fabric I'm going for, I have a lot of dark florals, but they're all in black, so it does, to me, it just doesn't quite work. I don't know how well it shows up on the camera, but the black versus the navy. So I decided instead to go for something with a bit of a contrast. There's this mustard colour in the fabric, and actually mustard yellow is one of my favourite colours anyway. And I have this fabric that I got from Nippori Fabric Town in Tokyo, which has a very traditional Japanese print on it. I'm not sure of the name of the print. If I find it out when I do this video, I'll flash it up here. But some people call it star print. Someone told me it's supposed to be a stylized hemp leaf once. So I'm going to use that. I've also got proper Sashiko thread. I took it out of the skein and wound it onto a homemade bobbin. And you can see here it says Sashiko Ito, Sashiko thread. And then I've got some Sashiko needles as well, which have a nice big eye on them for taking the thread. So let's get started. Here's my patch cut to size, ready to go. It's quite hard to see on the camera, but here are my holes. In this area of damage, I've got 3 holes. There's one big one and a couple of small ones. And just what I'm going to do to start with to stop it fraying is I'm just going to do some little stitches around the edge just on the patch fabric, using some regular thread. I guess I could just quickly run this up on my machine instead, but I think today I just want to be working in hand stitching. I don't do a lot of hand stitching. Whoops. Let's start again. This is basically my warm-up for the actual Sashiko stitching, which takes a lot more skill, I guess. I've used Sashiko inspired stitching before in my work. I had a piece called Sometimes You're the Rock, Sometimes You're the River, and it had an applique of a rock with little stitches indicating the flow of water all around it. And that was done with the Sashiko thread. That's why I have the thread in my possession. And I really enjoyed the process, but it's not really something I've explored further. Why am I so bad at making these little knots? That's finished now. I've got a nice little blanket stitch edge on it. I switched thread halfway through because the white thread I was using was just very poor quality and tangling. So I switched to a yellow thread, and then this edge is a selvage edge, so I don't have to worry about that fraying. So the next job is getting it inside the leg and held in place. I think I'm going to use some glue, water-soluble glue, to help stop it shifting. Right now I've put a notepad in the leg of the trousers, just so I can't sew the front of the trousers to the back, because that can definitely happen. And then my patch is under there, you can see that. I'm just gonna stick it in place temporarily, or I might just put some pins in actually. My lines of stitching will follow the white lines on the pattern and then continue out into the navy blue. That is my plan. I'm having a bit of trouble, and my trouble is that the only white marker I have is this chalk pen thing, and as I work the fabric the chalk lines keep disappearing. So I'm just going to soldier on for now and see how it goes. At the moment I'm doing these nice vertical lines that match up with the star underneath. So it's these white lines here, and yeah, I think it's coming along nicely. The vertical lines are all done now. As you can see on the original pattern, the horizontal lines are broken, so I think I'm going to skip the horizontal ones, but I want to do these lovely diagonals, and I did draw them on, but the chalk brushed off. So I'm going to redraw my nice diagonals and put them in, and hopefully it'll be done. This is where I'm at with my cross lines. I think I'm going to leave it here rather than following the other diagonals as well, because I think if I do the other diagonals, it's going to thicken it up quite a lot more, but also it's just going to make it look too busy, and I like how it looks now. I've got a good balance between these vertical lines and these horizontal ones. So I'm going to pop these trousers on now and we'll see how they look. I really like how it's turned out. Like, it blends in quite nicely with the floral pattern. I'm quite surprised by that. And actually the hole turned out to be smaller than I thought, so the mustard colour isn't like overwhelming. It sort of fits with like the little mustard flowers. So I really like that. I think that technique's worked really well. Now I've just got to do the back hole, wherever that is. There it is. Just got to do that one now. And they'll be fixed and ready to be pressed back in service into the garden. Hope you liked seeing me do this technique. I'm going to try it out again in the future. I also want to try doing some more little Sashiko things on plain like indigo dyed cotton and hemp rather than on messy florals. See you next time!